Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Tom Worth Jr. And as I mentioned yesterday, I got a little derailed onto that subject matter. And what I had planned on talking about was how Trump defies expectation. He defies normality. He does things that he shouldn't do, he shouldn't be able to do. He has people around him that have been there all along and that figure this stuff out for him. We all know Trump isn't smart enough to figure out anything for himself like this, like the which levers to pull in government, what he can get away with, what he can't get away with. So that's why I always say that we actually dodged a major bullet from 2016 to 2020. He did not understand what he could do or how to do it, how he might be able to do it. So he appointed all kinds of people, all sorts of unqualified people, some of which actually would not go along with what he would do. And he cranked through a bunch of people. Some of them were loyalists and yes men, yes women, and would just always do whatever he said. But it took a while to get to just a full cabinet, a full staff of people who would just unquestioningly carry out his orders. And so what does this mean? It means he kind of wasted his first couple years with not understanding how things work, and his people didn't understand how things worked well enough. But he gained his footing, pushed through nominations and confirmations, but at some point realized that he didn't need confirmations. He could just appoint people in interim positions, never intending to go through a confirmation process. So that's one way. When I hear people say, whether it's in the comments or actually having conversations with people, anti-Trump people who are close to me, even they will call me on something I said, and they'll say, wait, he can't do that, okay? So I don't see what the deal is. Like, for instance, with the Fed, when I said he would not raise interest rates, this person very near and dear to me said, well, he can't keep the Fed from doing their job. Yes, he can. First of all, he exerts extreme pressure on these people to do what he wants them to do. That's going, whether they actually do it right then or not, it's going to influence their thought process, possibly. But there are always ways to get rid of people. You know, like a chairman of the Fed, you can get rid of that person and put in someone else. And what he does is he gets loyalists. He will run by them, and I don't think he did this at first, but it was pretty clear later on that he did. He would bring on people that he would basically have to check with them ahead of time. Are you ever going to question anything I tell you to do? Because if you are, I'm just going to get rid of you anyway. So are you loyal to me, basically, is how I see that going down. He's going to, right out of the gate, do that with this term if he gets another term. And he will once again run into some resistance from some people who maybe think they would be loyal to him, but then they feel like they can't do what he's asking them to do. There might come a time when one person won't be able to do one thing. A Mike Pence, not overturning the election for him. Most constitutional experts think he couldn't have done that anyway, but he wouldn't do that. J.D. Vance? Well, absolutely, yes sir, tell me what to do and when to do it, and I am on my way. Do I have time to put my shoes on? That's J.D. Vance. This is why when people question, gosh, why would Trump ever appoint someone like J.D. Vance? Well, the real reason is Peter Thiel. Obviously, that's the guy who has created this entity we understand as J.D. Vance. Yes, he served in the military. Yes, he went to Yale Law School. Tremendously impressive accomplishments, absolutely, no doubt. Overcame a lot to do those things. But once he got out, it looks to me, it reads like a string of failures. Always with Peter Thiel talking to one of his startups or one of the companies he's funded. Peter Thiel is a super powerful guy out in Silicon Valley. If you get a call from him saying, hey, find a spot for this dude, you're probably going to do that. But J.D. Vance would be bad at his job, and then the company would get rid of him. He'd end up at another Peter Thiel company. Eventually, Peter Thiel bankrolled his own company, J.D. Vance's kind of own company to run. He bankrolled his Senate run in Ohio, just astronomical amounts of money. And it created this vice presidential candidate of the United States. So basically gives Peter Thiel a foot in the Oval Office. So where Vance's loyalties are going to lie between Thiel and Trump, I don't know. Because I do think people like Peter Thiel, Putin is not the only one who views people like Donald Trump and Tucker Carlson as useful idiots. It's a Soviet term. People like Peter Thiel do. People like Elon Musk do. These people have all the money in the world. They have all the power and influence in the world. They are really, really smart people. And they absolutely know that they are smarter than Donald Trump. And if you can control the puppet in the White House, good, you win. That's the name of the game with J.D. Vance. So when push comes to shove, if Trump gives Vance some sort of instruction, I mean, he's going to do that, even if Peter Thiel doesn't want him to, because it's President Trump. He is the president, so you would have to do that. So how can Trump do things that you shouldn't be able to do? Well, he'll put people into positions that can and will do those things. It's not hard, but that's what he'll do. He kind of missed the boat on the first half of his first term. He really ramped it up, and COVID kind of changed everything for us, and he wasn't able to hang on to the office after 2020. So here we are 4 years later. He's already trying to do it again. He's already brought on people that he cut loose last time, and they've been working on things the whole time. So what are some things he might do? Well, I've talked about the Fed. If interest rates aren't dropping fast enough, he'll find a way to make the interest rates drop fast enough. I had a commenter on my Tucker Carlson video already, where I asserted that Tucker Carlson had aligned to Donald Trump and helped talk him out of a missile strike. And this commenter said, well, he's probably operating with a common sense understanding that Donald Trump can't just start a missile strike, but we repeatedly underestimate what Donald Trump can do in the worst ways. Nothing constructive, but in the worst ways. The people he gets into positions to allow him to do what he wants. That is what people underestimate. They don't know how. These are like, your Stephen Millers, your Steve Bannon's, really Stephen Miller, I think. That's just a smart guy, and he's not using his intelligence to our benefit. It's to his own benefit. It's to Donald Trump's benefit. It is a warped vision. It is. We have this Constitution and we have the separation of powers, but they've already got the House of Representatives aligned with them. They've already got The Supreme Court aligned with them. These are things that never should have been able to happen, and yet they did. So this is my concern. This is a concern of all the generals that signed off on going against Trump. I just saw more about that today. It's been going on for a while now. These are people that stay out of politics. It's not their role. Their role is to serve in the military and report all the way up to the commander-in-chief. Their boss's 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 boss, whatever level they're at. Leave the politics out of it. It doesn't mean they aren't Republican or Democrat, but it does mean that they are able to separate their job from their political views. It's been an extraordinary outpouring of military people, retired mostly, but these people are lining up against Trump, and they're going on the record, and they're saying he cannot hold office again. He cannot be the commander-in-chief again. This is what we saw. We cannot have that again. So, as I always say, don't take my word for it. Go read this stuff. Go read these statements. Go read these letters signed by all these people. When you have someone like Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney endorsing Kamala Harris, Dick Cheney is as old school as it gets, old school Republican as it gets. He's not, people come at me for my views, my take on the issues. How could a Republican back this Democrat stance on? I like you're totally missing the boat here. It's nothing to do with policy. If someone like Dick Cheney can come around and not only say I'm not voting for Trump, but say I am endorsing Kamala Harris, Trump is too big of a threat. Dick Cheney, do you think he's suddenly all green energy? Do you think he's suddenly, pick your Republican pet issue? Do you think suddenly he's flipped from right to left on any issue? No, he's Dick Cheney. He is the right. So for him to come out, and if it's good enough for him to say, I can set my views aside, I can set my policy choices aside, because if I don't, none of this will matter. There will be no left, there will be no right, there will be Donald Trump. That is as alarmist as I can make it sound, because that's the reality. You've never seen an outpouring of bipartisan opposition to anyone as you have with Donald Trump here. And as we start September here, we get further into it. I mean, these people are just going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. And my voice is so insignificant here, but I'm going to keep doing it every day because I said I would, and it's too darn fun anyway. These people did not forget. These people kept receipts. These people were in the room. They were in the Situation Room. They were in the Oval Office. They were fielding orders and commands from Donald Trump. They could not believe what he was either ordering them to do or asking them if there was a way to do it. These people want him as far from power as humanly possible. So, don't take my word for it. Never take my word for it. Look at me as another propaganda arm of whatever you want. Go look up the facts. Go look up these quotes. Go look at the statements by I think it was 10 retired generals. But that number's growing. Look at Dick Cheney's endorsement. Look at his exact words that he used. Liz Cheney's as well. It's all there. You're not seeing it on Fox News. I'm pretty sure. I'm not putting it on Fox News, but I'm pretty sure you're not going to see it there. Go find it. It's there. So I beg of you, please do that. That's what I wanted to talk about yesterday. So glad we got to get through that today. That's it for now, and we will talk again tomorrow. We'll see y'all.